Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you all for tuning in to episode 1 of TMRO Talks. This morning, I have a special guest with me who has owned not one, not two, but 3 businesses. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little more about that.
Hello, I'm Sam Carujo. I own Dahlia Salon and Spa in Evans, Georgia. I do real estate, both residential and commercial, with my husband Tony with Summer House Realty. We are the Carujo team, and I own Create Spaces, which is where we're recording now.
It is. And I'd like to thank you for letting us be here this morning.
Of course.
I'm very excited to just kind of get into this. It's the first episode, so it's going to be a little experimental.
We got to get the jitters out.
Get the gist of it, learn how it works. But kicking things off, so what is it that you do? You said real estate, your hair salon, and you own the Create Space, but what does that look like for you in a day-to-day life?
So I actually just cut back my schedule again to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going in later on Monday, leaving earlier on Wednesday because real estate, specifically commercial, Tony and I do residential together, but commercial is my baby. I'm able to coach other business owners and help them out in that way, which is awesome. So it has picked up a lot lately, so it's a little bit more demanding. So real estate is a 24/7.
Yes.
Hair salon being actually behind the chair is those, 2.5 days a week. Salon owner is 24/7. And here is pretty much just flipping it between rentals and running the social media and keeping up with emails.
Yeah. So this is your newest
Yes.
baby, for lack of a better term.
Yes. This is, what do you call it? A passion project, I guess. So, Create Space was definitely meant to be a place for people to come and utilize it who aren't ready to step out on their own and have, maybe their own podcast studio yet, to be able to offer hourly rental to the community or daily rental, however you need. So I did a lot of give back as far as Women's Collective and Business Collective in the years before, and this is basically the brick and mortar version of that. So
That's awesome. That is awesome. So you also run 3 different social media pages because you have this, you have 4.
I have 4.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
have 4 because you also have your business mentor page, right?
Yep, sure do.
So what is something people don't see looking into that?
Crying. I'm a firm believer in no crying on camera. But I was just telling you, I started working with someone for content planning for my mentor account.
Yeah.
And I am never been one to sing and dance on camera ever. But I am a sing and dancer in real life. Not well at either one of them, but I'll stick to the day jobs. But our Closing Carujo's account tends to be pretty polished and in order, basically just as a touch point for potential clients. My mentor account is where I can have fun a little more. The Dahlia Salon account, I have my girls, as long as they're clean photos, they collaborate so that they show up on the grid as well. So essentially like an online portfolio because people are very visual.
Yeah.
And, just sharing stuff and a directional page to get us to our website, all of that. And the Create Space page is also fun, but has definitely, I need to post more on it in recent days, aside from just collaborating on it for sure.
Yeah, well, I was going to say collaborating is a huge way to do it and encouraging anytime somebody comes in. Like you said, you have a yoga class here weekly.
Yeah.
Like if they would take behind the scenes footage or just a literal 30-second clip of them doing that class every week to post, be like, our weekly yoga class.
Thank you for that.
I think
Shelby is such a slay that does our yoga classes,
Yeah.
so she would absolutely do that if I asked her to, and I've just never thought to do it.
You have an in-house tripod here.
I do. Good old magnetic, old faithful.
Yeah. So that is, do you do business mentoring? Like you actually, people hire you out?
Yes.
Okay, so you do, all right. That's another thing on the checklist.
Yeah, okay. So everyone is always concerned with my plate. They're like, "Wow, isn't your plate too full?"
It's like a Thanksgiving plate.
Yeah. So I have always worked all the jobs. Okay. So even whenever I was 17, I would work at mall jobs, doing the windows at American Eagle at night and, work waiting tables during the day. And I always like to keep busy. And I finally came to realize, I was talking with Tony yesterday, honestly, and he's like, "What are your hobbies?" And I'm like, well, I think coming up with things to do on a regular basis, really and truly, I just enjoy business.
Yeah.
So the mentoring aspect, I've always created places and spaces for other business owners to come in without judgment, all of that good stuff, and always tried to help as much as I can. So on a day-to-day basis for mentoring, it's not much different than I've already been doing. I'm just not burned out and I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. I soft-launched, and that soft-launch is slowly becoming a hard launch because it's taken over
That's
on
awesome.
Instagram. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I soft launch. This is kind of the plan.
Hey, let's go.
Soft launching. Well, this is so anybody watching this isn't live, clearly. It's gonna the plan is the plan is to kind of build it out and then create with the content of interviewing, then use that as the form of advertising.
Yeah.
And do it kind of seasonal. I don't plan for this to be ongoing forever. I mean, it may.
That can get exhausting.
But, I talked to quite a few people. I had a buddy who started a podcast last year. And then he did his whole freshman year of college with a group of like friends. And they did it all year long. And it was pretty successful from a college standpoint.
Sure.
And filming in their dorm. But they did it for a year, but they recorded weekly and uploaded the following day. And I was like, hey, what did you learn from this? Like, what is something I should take note of? And he was immediately like, plan it, recording a lot of it, and then start releasing, because I wish we would have done that. And I was like, okay, interesting.
It's a lot. I think Tisha and I, when we had our Business Collective podcast, we would set up and record like in studio and like everything. All we had to do was show up and yap, and that was really nice.
Yeah.
But we would book, I think it was like 3 or 4 hours. And I think I had told you this whenever we originally talked about this, you know, like we'd book like 3 or 4 hours, and then we would literally just sit and record back to back 20 to 30 minute episodes. And by the end of it, we were like, I can't possibly yap anymore. But that's what worked best. And then we just slow rolled them out throughout the month. But I was listening to It's Mel Robbins' most recent episode she put out. And she had mentioned she used to record like in her closet with a microphone.
Yeah, a lot of people did that. There's a podcast I used to listen to, and until she got big, she was just like, they were only like 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of funny. I was listening to a podcast for moms at like 16.
Okay.
The reason was she talked about like how to still be productive and handle like your stress.
Okay.
Which is what I was listening. I'm not a mom by any means. But it was something that I related to in the sense of, you know, the overwhelmingness of life. And at 16 years old, I was doing my video internship, learning how to be a videographer. I was also doing my theater stuff still, and I still had a full schedule of school. And it was just like, I was overwhelmed. And for whatever reason, I found this podcast and I resonated with the overwhelmed mom and all of her kids' things, and not having the children, but having all of the different things. And she was just kind of talking through of like how to handle it, how to deal with it. It also helped me understand my mom, which had a benefit. So, but yeah, she recorded in her closet for the longest time.
I mean, a lot of rappers do it. Like a lot of starting rappers do it, or like other musicians. Huh?
Do you know why?
Why?
Because the sound doesn't bounce.
Because all the clothes?
It absorbs the sound. So it sounds very crisp and clean and professional.
Well, and here's the thing is I recently like invested in microphones and all of the things, and I'm really trying. I've finally like pushed past this weird imposter syndrome I've had for 3 years around like launching this mentoring program. And sometimes you just gotta like record when it hits you.
Yeah.
Like there are times where I'm like, ooh, I'm inspired, and it's 10:30 at night, and I'm like, all right, well, let's record this really quick and schedule it to go out, you know, at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Or whatever. So it's not always ideal to have like a full, you know, thing, but it is much nicer.
It is. It is for sure. And it's one of those things where like a lot of people struggle with to just jump at it.
Yeah.
You know, when something hits. And that doesn't mean like in that second you have to do it. But like when the idea hit me for this podcast, and I reached out to you 24 hours later, because I was like, I need this to sit. Because I'm very much so a person that's like, this is great, I have to do it now. I'm trying to get better at like letting things kind of, okay, is this something I really need to do?
Yeah.
And it sat for a day, and I reached out to you and I was like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And you said it sounded like a great idea.
Yeah.
So for the next month, I did my research talking to people that I knew who had been in this, and I also built out a plan of like, okay, what do I want this to look like? And so when something hits you, you don't have to in the moment invest $100,000 in
Sure.
a restaurant, but you can build a plan and start. I mean, I think you need $500 to start a business.
Yeah.
So
Honestly.
that and ambition.
Yeah. Yeah, which a lot more people have $500 than they do ambition.
Yep. It's very, very true. So now jumping into a fun segment.
Okay.
It's called Film or Fail, and I want you to tell me either your favorite movie or your favorite failure of an experience that you learned from.
I'm going to go the easy route and do my favorite movie.
Tell me.
All right. No judgment whatsoever, right? All on the table. My favorite movie is the B movie. And if you've not watched it, it is a classic film, okay?
Interesting. Very interesting choice.
But I mean, actually, I just took my girls to Hilton Head, and they're all 12 of us are in one condo together, and we had this great family dinner, and it was awesome.
Uh-huh.
And I turned the B movie on because I'm like, oh, this is comfort, and like no one's paying attention to what's on TV. It's just background noise, but I care, so I'm gonna watch my favorite movie. And someone comes in, and they're like, "Who has on the B movie?" And I immediately just like slid the remote like down in the couch cushion, and she's like looking everywhere for the remote. She was like, "Oh my gosh, how is this even on?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I got no idea." And so she comes over and she's like, like digging around the couch cushions around me, and I literally just like slid out of the couch and army crawled away from her, and she's like, "Is this you of all people?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like it's a good movie.
Yeah.
If you've not watched it, you should."
Yeah.
So it's always hands down going to be the big movie.
Interesting.
Doesn't
Is there like
matter.
a specific reason why? Or
It's just good. I don't know. It's good. It's funny. It's good, clean humor. I don't know.
interesting.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? So, right now,
Uh-huh.
it's hard. My favorite movie, I've watched this movie the most in my entire life, is When Harry Met Sally.
Okay.
I think like November to January, there's not a single night that I didn't watch that whole movie for like 3 straight months.
Everyone has the guilty pleasure of like what your favorite.
When I told people that, they were like, "You watch this every night?" I was like, "Yeah." I love the fact, like, I love a good blockbuster that's over the top, but I love the fact that it's so down to earth and real.
Okay.
That's what I love about it. Like, you're literally just watching the probably most relatable rom-com ever because it doesn't feel like this, oh, romance, unrealistic, whatever.
Yeah.
It takes place over 12 years and you're watching this relationship, like, struggle, be dumb, you're watching them mature. It's this movie that's just literally life, and it's awesome.
Well, have you seen the B movie? I think it could fall in the rom-com category.
I don't want to get into that wormhole.
But it does, the B movie, I think it's great for entrepreneurs because
Yes.
as someone who is like outside of the box, if you've not seen the B movie, everyone has to like pick their job. It's going to be their job forever when they're graduating. And, Little Barry the Bee's like, "Nah, fam, like I want to do something else. I'm trying to go out of the hive," right? And then he discovers love, and then he like fights for things, and
It is.
It's a good movie.
It's a good testimony. It's a very good. It is. Everybody has their thing that just pushes them.
yeah.
Oh. Just gonna leave that at that. So, is the B movie how you get into your business?
What?
Is that what inspired you to get into your business and creative work? The B movie?
No.
How old were you when this
Maybe.
movie came out? Because I was like 6.
Oh, the B movie. How old are you?
I'm 19.
I am 36. So, whatever that math is, if you were 6, I had to
I don't know if
have
I was
been-
actually 6. I just remember the movie came out like early 2000s.
Yeah. I don't know. I should probably know that. I'll look that up. But I just remember like there was like one Christmas that I wanted like a DVD player and like a TV for my own room. So I was that age, probably like 12,
Yeah.
maybe 11. But or no, maybe older. I just remember getting it on DVD for Christmas one year, and I was like, wow, like I've made it. And then that was what I watched every single night, like going to sleep.
Okay, so it is your When Harry Met Sally. Got it.
It is.
Got it. But what did get you into your business?
Necessity. So I never wanted to own a business. Every business that I owned, or every business owner that I had experienced, was always so stressed out, so ticked off all the time, and like so honestly kind of like rude. And I I worked in a salon for, gosh, 6 years, I think. And I no longer liked being in that salon. I wasn't happy. I didn't like the way that things were going, but there were no other salons that were like as like cool. Like I don't know. Like I wanted a place where I could fit in and where others like me could fit in. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll just stick it out, whatever. And my husband, Tony, and my sister were both like, do your own thing. And I'm like, ew. Actually, ew. Like I would rather not. So then I was like, okay, well, maybe I could see it. And I honestly opened my first location with the idea of like just myself and like two others, and I can pay the bills, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to go to work and be happy, and I wanted my clients to not feel tension in the air. And then I fell in love with being a business owner. Once I realized it didn't have to be that hard, and that the business owners I had experienced before, some things I was being maybe a little defensive about out of immaturity and not knowing. We would be super duper busy at a restaurant that I worked at, and there would be napkins on the floor, and he'd be like, oh, why are there napkins on the floor? And I'm like, dude, don't you see? We're like running around you. But to him, he's like, this is my place that I've paid for, that I'm welcoming guests into, that I'm creating an overall experience. Of course, he's concerned about the napkins on the floor. I could never see like the aerial perspective of any of that until opening my own. So, yeah. Once I realized that things didn't have to be that hard, I kind of got a little bit of momentum and did a renovation in the space that I was in and added another stylist. And then said, you know what, time to grow, time to expand, and then tripled my staff in 2022.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's the first business.
So when was the point in that where you started to realize like this actually might work?
For the salon?
Yeah.
Honestly, this is not the question you asked me, but it has to do with what you just asked me. I tell people all the time my two biggest regrets in business are my one biggest regret with two different people, not letting the people go that I should have let go at the time that I should have let them go. I had someone that just was not aligning with my goals, wasn't aligning with my vision for the salon. And I just kept her on just because of my bleeding heart, and I swear the moment I let her go, finally, I got pushed to the point and was in the bathroom of my own salon looking in the mirror. And I'm like, wait a second, you paid for this. Why are you crying in the bathroom of the place you're paying for? Like something's not right. So I let her go. I had a meeting with my staff the next day. And then from there, I swear, like I skyrocketed. So that's it. I forgot what your question was.
Pretty much like.
When did I realize it would work?
When did you realize it was going to work? Yeah.
Yep. After that. After I really it was almost like the air was just immediately thinner. Everybody was happy coming to work. And I was like, okay, let's do this. I had literally just done that small expansion in the space I was in. And we were all happy. There was fresh paint on the walls, different furniture, new different things. And it was like a good, fresh start.
Yeah. That's awesome. So hair came first,
mm-hmm.
and then real estate followed?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What did that look like, picking that up on top of?
Well, during COVID, there are a lot of agents that got into real estate during that 2021 like explosion. We got in 2020, or we went to school in 2020, but it wasn't because of the explosion and like what we saw and like how easy we thought it would be. I was home. I was shut down from COVID for 6 weeks. We kind of closed a little bit early because, I'm very like cared about the community and, wanted to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, get it over with. But we were closed, I think, 6 weeks total. And I had always saved money for what if something happens to me, right? And then never did I think, like, what if something happens to my entire staff, right? That taught me a big lesson, COVID did. Now I had squirreled away a bunch of money and, like, counted how long I could take it, keep us open without any income whatsoever. And I was good. I was set because of how much I had saved. But we had a friend that would come over. It was one of Tony's friends. I had 2 COVID pals, right? 2 people that were allowed on my back porch, right? We were like bleaching Amazon packages and stuff. We were hardcore in the Carujo household, okay? So there were 2 people I would allow to breathe the same outside air as me on my back porch, and that was Tony's friend John, who's a real estate agent, and our friend Adam.
Yeah.
And John would literally come over and he would have been working all day and he was a real estate agent. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, you're still making money? And he would always tell me, he'd say, Sam, like, you have such a good network. You need to get into real estate. You guys would kill it. John and Tony had been friends for like 20 some odd years before they joined the military together. They went to Iraq together in 2003. So they've always been, kind of had each other's backs like throughout their careers. And John had been telling Tony, you need an escape plan. Like, you got to get out of the military. So he's like, Sam, you'd kill it. Y'all would do good. So I said, all right. And I signed us up for real estate school, the first one that was available. We were the only people in our class that were able to sit next to each other because we were married. We had like the big plastic shield. I also learned a lot about how different Tony and I are and how we study and learn. But that's really what got it started, was necessity again. I didn't want to have that feeling of not having a backup plan ever again.
Yeah.
And then it got insane for us. It exploded. John was very right about my network. So
how has that piece of being an entrepreneur and stepping into all of your roles kind of changed your life and perspective on it?
Well, before real estate, I had never seen, I'll be 100% transparent. Like, I had never had like the money in my bank account to do the things that I wanted to do before. So having real estate, it was almost like it gave me a jump start to feel a little bit more confident in taking the risky steps in business. And I tried for a long time. I wanted to have a project called Collab. Collab was the giant version of what Create Space is, and it was supposed to be a 15 to 20 person suite rental space with my salon inside of it. I was looking at 5,000 square feet and worked on that for 2 years, and it failed. So there's that. There's the other half of the question about the movies. It didn't fail. The business didn't fail. I was just fitting a circle into a square. Yeah. What was your question again? I'm so sorry.
The question was just, how has being an entrepreneur or creative like changed the way you view?
Yeah. So doing all of that and having taken that 2 years of trying to learn all of the things, I then started, I had gained all of this knowledge, and I have all this stuff in my brain, and I've done the retreats and, learned all this stuff and done all this work, that there was 2 years where I literally had like my eyes on the cake. Yeah. And like God was giving me the ingredients the entire time, and I had no idea. Yep. So in anything, like being in business and learning all the things that I've learned, gaining all the knowledge that, nothing happens for no reason whatsoever. So without the salon, there wouldn't have been real estate. Without John talking us into it, there wouldn't have been real estate. Without real estate, I wouldn't have had the money and the confidence to be able to say, hey, screw it, let's do it. Let's triple the staff. Yeah. Let's have this down payment on this brick and mortar space for this giant collab project that didn't work out. But I had the confidence to do that. I believed so much in myself in that. The idea just couldn't work in the real estate, and now I know why. Yeah. I wasn't. Could you imagine Hurricane Helene with 20 people, 20 brand new vulnerable business owners in suites, and my staff of 12 as well? That would have been bonkers. God knew it. I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that that's the piece of like everything happens the way that it should.
Yeah.
I've had the reason I started all of my videography in business was the sole factor of I wanted to be a movie director and make movies. And it still is kind of a goal in the back of my head. And I'm that idea is sitting on the plank right now. And I'm wondering, do I just push it off? Because I have this like almost unhealthy obsession with having to create something great. Uh but that's not the piece. The piece is the thing, like nothing working out. Like I've had several times lined up of creating a film or a short film or something that I've written that's a creative project. And every single time something happens to where it's like, okay, I can still try and make this happen, but it's probably going to be brutal.
Yeah.
And some of those things being like, snow in Augusta in January when, the one weekend I finally lined up a cast and crew of 20 people. And I was like, okay, cool. So this isn't happening. Or I finally started filming a short film over the summer and a buddy just had a change of life circumstances. And, he was like, I can still do it. I can still do it. I was like, you're still willing to do it.
Yeah.
But what does that do for me if I put you in this position knowing where your life is at right now? And what kind of person would I be to still force you to uphold something that ultimately doesn't matter? Like, it wasn't like I was losing money or
Yeah.
it was a waste of anybody's time. I mean, that was probably the biggest piece is a few people may have seemed like a waste of time because nothing came of it. But I learned a lot of things doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like every time something's failed or hasn't worked out, like I've been able to look back and be like, well, this didn't work. That way this could come about and I could do this. And then I learned from that into moving into this. And so we're working on creative project number 3. Hopefully this one gets to see the light of day.
Okay.
Or at least some people get to see it. But it's just that piece of like, I can look at it like I was a waste of time. This was for nothing. Like this isn't supposed to happen. Or I could be like, okay, but I learned this in this situation.
Absolutely.
And I learned this in this situation. And they just kind of like, that's failing is building.
Yeah. And I mean, golly, man, I remember whenever I was told like this project is not going to work, we were sitting at Whiskey Bar and Tony was like, Sam, everyone is going to think it's me. Like, can you please? Like, because I was like sobbing at the bar and I would like get up and go to the bathroom and like clean my face up and then come back and I just couldn't stop because it was just like a huge like gut punch. And then after all of that, I still tried another space.
Yep.
I still tried. And then when that didn't work, the building owner's agent used my letter of intent to shop a higher price per square foot on a place to a gym. And I got told that and I was like, all right, like time to hang up the phone on this. Clearly. And then I still did G-Force Entrepreneurs, I think that year, and was building out our whole project, like my whole part in the 12 weeks, still around collab because I'm like, I've worked so hard on this. Like clearly, what else am I gonna do? And then it was week 8 where I just had this breakthrough, and it was like loud and clear, like I've given you all the tools that you need to do something higher and greater, and you cannot tell me that that isn't commercial real estate and business mentoring all day long. And it's like the biggest thing with commercial real estate for small business owners, they're very vulnerable and they call a number on a sign. No one answers the phone or they're kind of shuffled into the papers,
Yeah.
And I can show up and be that person that guides them through all of that. And, you can be represented similar to a buyer's agent in a commercial lease. That alone, I almost didn't open my business originally because no one would pick up the phone when I'd call all of the signs. So yeah, from like the brick and mortar spaces that I learned about zoning. I learned about the SBA loan process. I learned about just small business loans in general and how all that works, how to work with investors, and it's like all of this stuff. And I'm like, God, why? Why did you let me do all of this just to fail?
Yeah.
And this place, I told him, I said, look, homie, like I was in my car driving right by the Kroger in Grovetown. And I was like, dude, like, don't let this work out. Don't make it easy.
Yeah.
If you start to make it hard, then I'll know, Sam, it's time. I'm a stubborn girly. Okay. So I just said, don't make it easy on me if it's not meant to be.
Mhm.
And here we are.
Yep. That was the prayer for me of when this started to pick up over the past few months, especially because last like 2 weeks ago I started a part-time job at my church.
Yeah.
And so that, threw a rock in the water, and schedule's now like, okay, it doesn't exist what it did. I have to rebuild a new structure of life. And as opportunities were coming up, and really, really big ones, I was like, I'm only going to do these things if it comes easily. If there's at all like a struggle or a conflict with my heart being in that ministry position, I'm committed to it for a year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it because I told myself I was going to put everything that I could into that, and all my video stuff was going to be on the side. And just waiting for these worlds to collide. And I've been waiting, and people keep telling me to stop waiting for them to collide and go with them. Let them both just be their own thing. It's okay. They don't have to be one thing. But I'm getting to see a role in both. Like the working in ministry piece, you work with people. And so working with people in difficult situations makes it easy to work with difficult people in the business world. And in the business world of like having the skill of, having to interact with difficult people, but also having the video ability, I've now been able to bring that in a new, what's the word I'm looking for? Been able to bring my video production skill to the church and help utilize that skill there. They go coherently hand in hand, but the easy piece is like, it's, you gotta know when it's being like, this isn't for you. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, and it's very hard to tell the difference.
It's hard to know that call.
For sure. And it's really hard. There are so many people who start a business as a side, your side hustle. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, how do I know when it's time to quit my job and take this on full time?
Yeah.
I have a good girlfriend. She's a photographer, and I'm like, quit your job. Quit your day job. It doesn't like you. You don't like it. Like, quit your day job. You're doing so well on your own, but it's hard. I sat with a tattoo artist in Savannah. His name was Zach, and I didn't sit with him in a meeting. I sat with him while I was getting tattooed. And I asked him, I'm like, I was doing hair, but I was also bartending at Pizza Joint. And I'm like, ugh, and this is like subtle foreshadowing, okay, what I'm about to say. So I say to him, I'm like, I just don't want to let it go because I know no matter what, like I'm going to make some money. And he's like, well, why can't you step into hair full time? And I'm like, what if everyone gets the plague and can't come and get their hair done? And he said, well, if they all have the freaking plague, they're not coming to drink beers and eat pizza either. And that was that aha moment. And that was probably in like April of whatever year that was. And I created an exit plan and was done by October.
Mm-hmm.
So the plague being COVID. That's the foreshadowing part. I'm like, holy crap. Like, did I do that?
Well, so that's the hardest thing, is the money.
Yeah.
Like, because we live in a place where it's like it's a necessity. Yeah. But it's also put on such a level of need that it's like, okay, but what do you really need? It's and like this goes back to earlier, like you only need $500 to start a business. That $500 isn't going to buy your whole business. Yeah. But that $500 is going to build your whole business. Yeah. I mean, if you see everybody asks all the time, sell me this pen videos. There's people out there who can sell you that pen and make you buy it. And you're like, that right there is exactly what you need. Yeah. I mean, you can start with a pen. My brother watches Ryan Trahan. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's this YouTube influencer. He's just a great guy. He's just like traveling, I think maybe he's done, I don't know. Well, he's traveling the 50 states in 50 days with his wife. Okay. And as they were doing this, he was getting all of this money donated to open like this box of doom or something. I don't know. Anyways, all of this stuff, and like it's all getting donated to like the Children's Hospital and the Wellness Center and all of this stuff. And he's just traveling the states. He did a whole thing where he was like, I'm going to cross the entire country with a penny. And he took a penny and was like, hey, can I trade this penny for a nickel to somebody? And traded money up till he got $1, then bought a pen for $1, sold it for $2, bought a water bottle, sold the water, Yeah. And then he's walking around with a cooler with signs that say $1 water bottles, and he's got full of water, and he starts selling that, and he finds a place to stay. And he gets, and you watch these people, it's like, if you have to, you will. So
Yeah.
and it goes
Heavy
back to you
emphasis,
on the
yeah.
necessity, you know?
Yeah. Most, I would say, like the $1 million businesses, the $1 million business ideas are always finding a need.
Mhm.
If you can, and it doesn't matter. Like I just saw the truck. It's this guy Dustin has a place called Turd Toters. Not a place. It's literally a truck. He picks up dog
Yeah.
poops. Okay.
Yep.
So, they were talking about him at Summer House the other day. I guess.
He came to the networking event.
Did he?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
know.
So, even that, like, I don't pick up my dog's poop. You know, like there's something for everything.
Mhm.
And like I have this really genius plant girly idea that I'm not sharing here because I'm shopping at all the plant girlies.
Okay.
But it's a need that's very much so needed in our area that's not being fulfilled.
Yeah.
But really, I think the main thing in business is being able to stay consistent and sticking, like having your goal and figuring out how to make that goal a plan and put that plan into action.
Yep.
And having the support and utilizing all of the resources around you.
Yeah.
I'm of the mindset, I didn't graduate high school, okay? Like I completed 10th grade, went to 11th grade for a little bit and like didn't go to school a lot. No, I wasn't doing drugs and like crazy things. I was going to Barnes and Noble and reading, business books, honestly. I convinced myself I was going to be a nurse because my mom said hairstylists wouldn't make any money and didn't have insurance and all of those things. So
Yeah.
I was reading like nursing school for dummies or, just silly stuff. But I let that hold me back for a long time, especially in rooms where everyone has a degree, everyone has multiple degrees. I'm like, well, shoot, like I'm keeping notes of like words I want to Google later so I understand the meaning of them. And Brittany Turner on her island, Ariel in the British Virgin Islands, we did a whiteboard session and she said, okay, well, like what's the biggest thing holding you back? And I said, I feel stupid. No matter what, like I feel stupid. In every room that I'm in, I'm not as educated. And she goes, tell me this. Has learning not learning the process of photosynthesis done anything to get you to where you are in your businesses today?
Yeah.
And I was like, no. She was like, all right. You can learn anything. There's so many, like this YouTube dude. You can learn. There are so many people that have probably been inspired by this guy or are doing the same thing. You can learn anything from anyone. We have so many resources at our fingertips. So to me, I'm always of the mindset of like, you can't learn work ethic. You can't learn drive. You can't really learn ambition. But if I want to be the best commercial real estate agent and best serve my clients, I can take all of the classes that any of these other dudes did and then learn how to do it better.
Yep. Yeah.
Microphone drop.
Yeah, literally, it's like
Yeah.
it's a very good ending statement, honestly. So yeah, any final notes, anything you want to share to aspiring entrepreneurs who might listen or already struggling ones?
Struggling. Honestly, this is not to say like buy my stuff or buy my coaching, but find a mentor. Find someone that aligns with you and your personal goals, your spiritual goals, and your business goals. Find someone who has done the thing that you are wanting to do. Because I promise you, even, the smallest things to them are the biggest things for you right now in these stages of your business.
Yep.
So find a mentor. Whether you hire one, whether you trade coffee with one, whatever it is, find someone to talk to help you go through what you're going through.
Yep. I think that's a good chunk of advice. I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't talk to you all the time.
Yay.
Or I had like video mentor, spiritual mentor. I had like 5 different mentors at one point in my life. So really, really is beneficial.
Which is good. And if you have 5 mentors, there are a lot of people that will read a book and then they go all in on that thing.
Yep.
I'm not a time tracker. I'm not going to like track out every 15 minutes of my life, but I like the idea of it. So whatever you learn that you love from each coach or mentor or YouTube video or Instagram, whatever it is, take it, stick it in your toolkit. Use it for later. Use what works for you. If it doesn't work for you, toss it to the side and tell them thank you. Still thank them for the information, but learn to utilize like what works best for you.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's all I have. I appreciate your time and for letting us use your awesome studio.
Of course. Thanks for allowing me to run on Yap sessions.
It's amazing. It will be great. Thanks for listening, guys. Until next time. Yeah, we'll be back. I don't have a plan for that yet.